This evening also marks the formal curtain raiser for International Pharmaceutical Exhibition, the integral part of the global health expo. Supply chain, foster innovation, contribute to better healthcare outcomes worldwide. I once again extend my sincere gratitude to Shri Piyush and all the senior officials of the government.
Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, we take the pleasure of extending a warm welcome to Shri Jitin Prasad. Sir, we extend a warm welcome to you with a warm applause. May I request you all to please kindly extend it. May I request you to please present the shawl as well and extend a warm welcome to the Honorable Minister, sir.
Honorable Minister of State Sri Jitin Prasad ji, Chairman Pharmexil Mr. Namit Joshi, other industry dignitaries on the dais, all the Excellency Ambassadors and High Commissioners from various countries who have gathered here to the hall today, all the representatives from various High Commissions and embassies who are present here today, all my colleague officials on the dais and off the dais who are present here in the hall today, representatives from the industry, friends from the media. First of all, very warm welcome to this evening. I am happy to see that there is participation from multiple countries here today. We are all gathered here to talk about the success story of India, pharmaceutical story, the India's health story, and see how India and the world can work together to make it stronger as we go along. As you all are aware, India is a major pharmacy of the world. We are one of the biggest producer of generic medicines across the world, with more than 3,000 companies, with more than 10,000 plus manufacturing units. I think more than 60,000 generic brands that we manufacture in our country. As we grow, there are new challenges that we need to meet. So if India has to become a true pharmacy to the world and a sustainable source of pharmaceutical supply across the world, I think we need to work with each one of you countries across the world to see that how we create sustainable supply chains, meet your requirements in a more resilient fashion, and demonstrate that India as a supplier, you can always depend on India as a country for your supply of your healthcare and pharmaceutical needs.
That was to show the mandate of the people and the stability that India is going through. And with a stable government, with a focused leadership, we have the leverage to take long-term decisions. We have the leverage to take bold decisions. And we are primarily focusing on two things which Prime Minister Modi believes in. One is of ease of doing business, and the other is of ensuring ease of living for the Indian citizens. As we go back and show you, given again the Prime Minister's commitment, amongst innumerable things that he thinks and he talks and he envisions, one thing is Prime
Jitin Prasad ji, distinguished guests on the dais, Your Excellencies and friends from the pharma industry. You are all welcome to this curtain raiser of IPHEX 12th edition. So I'll just tell you a little bit about IPHEX. We started it 12 years back, maybe like 13 years back. So the basic idea of IPHEX was to have one umbrella for all the healthcare activities under one umbrella. So in IPHEX, what we exhibit is the formulation, the finished medicine, the API, the bulk drugs, the medical devices, even herbal, and even contract manufacturing. So you can find everything under one umbrella. So that was the idea, and the idea was also from this side to give an Indian exhibitors an exposure to the foreign world. So Minister has come. Foreign delegates who have come and participated in IPHEX. So I request you, as our Honorable Minister has stated, we welcome your excellencies to spread the message in your respective countries to come to visit to IPHEX and see what the total healthcare about India is. We can give you affordable and credible medicines. So I request you all to please come and join IPHEX this year. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just received here in our midst the Honorable Minister, sir. We extend a very warm welcome to Honorable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal, the Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry. A very warm welcome to you, sir. And what you were just witnessing was an introduction to IPHEX 2026 by IPHEX Chairman, Mr. Nipun Jain. So once again, sir, extending a warm welcome to you. It's an honor and a privilege, sir, to welcome you here. And culture, we like the ceremonial land before starting any new initiatives. Praying for the success of one and all.
Apologies, I was not here earlier, but we have a series of engagements going on since we are celebrating 12 years of our government at the center with Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister, and we have a series of programs going on in that respect. It's wonderful to have my colleague Shri Jiten Prasad interact with all of you and share with you our perspective of for the pharmaceutical industry going forward. Commerce Secretary Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, Chairman Mr. Namit Joshi, all the other distinguished friends on the dais, off the dais, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. In our ancient texts, the Upanishads, there is a very famous Sanskrit shlok or a sentence which says Sarva Santu Niramaya, which means, translates in English to, may all beings be free from illness. In a way, it's ancient Indian wisdom. Good health belongs to every human being. But I think collectively, post-COVID particularly, the world has recognized our shared responsibility to make the world a better place to live in, a safer place to live in, and to ensure access to healthcare across the world in fair measure, to ensure that every person born anywhere in the world should be taken care of. For thousands of years, India has seen health as a shared responsibility. And I think this philosophy guides modern pharmaceutical industry, where there is an effort that more and more markets, more and more people should get the benefit of innovation, should enjoy the fruits of the good work done by the pharmaceutical sector. And I think this is what IPHEX stands for. The 12th edition of IPHEX, a platform that brings together the finest minds in India in the pharma and healthcare sector, invites all of you and delegates from your countries, exhibitors from your countries, from around the world, to come and participate and experience the India growth story, particularly in the pharmaceutical sector. We believe we have probably 700, 800 or 1,000 exhibitors. After today's program, we should cross 1,000. And a number of overseas business delegations which will be visiting to see firsthand what is happening in the India pharmaceutical sector. As I said, we are celebrating 12 years of the Modi government. During this 12 years, taking our industry to international markets has been an important element of this journey. We have recently entered into 9 free trade agreements, and I see a number of countries represented here with whom we've done free trade agreements in the recent past. Today, we cover more than 50 countries with free trade agreements. Almost the entire developed world offers preferential market access to Indian goods and services. And therefore we see ourselves as a part of global supply chains and an integral part of your country's journey in the pharmaceutical sector, maybe as a customer, maybe as an innovator, maybe as a country which works on clinical trials, maybe as a country which offers technology or gets contract manufacturing done in India. There are so many different ways. We haven't reached anywhere close to our potential. We can clearly see this industry doubling in the next 5 years. We are looking at moving out beyond generics into more and more innovation, more and more innovative products, but of course without sacrificing the huge benefits that the generic sector offers for patients around the world. In fact, I suspect if generics were not available at the price points that India offers, millions of patients around the world would have had to suffer lack of access to healthcare and medicine purely for the inhibitive cost that medicines and branded medicines cost in most parts of the developed world. Even the developed countries eagerly look forward to our generic medicines to serve the common man, to serve the needs of routine medical health care. I think I'm told I would probably be a few percentage points off the mark, but 80 to 90% by volume of the medicines sold in the US are of generic medicines, even though they account for barely 10-15% of the value. But even at that price point, these generics are available and serve the larger needs of society. I think there are 3 important factors which define the pharmaceutical sector in India. One is trust. We have aligned India's good manufacturing practices framework to global benchmarks. 65 to 70% of World Health Organization requirements on vaccines are produced in India, sourced from India. 10 out of 25 global generic companies operate out of India. In fact, the trust that we have generated lends us to have the highest number of US FDA approved plants in India compared to any other part of the world. The largest number are in India. 2, we are now getting into the innovation world rapidly. In fact, our patent filings have increased by almost 100% in the last few years alone. We are focusing on high value segments through Biopharma Shakti, a program that we have launched to encourage innovation in India in the pharmaceutical sector. We have $100 billion in Switzerland, where Miss Excellency Miss Maya comes from, because the costs of operation in India are so much less compared to Europe or America, that with a $105,000 per capita income in Switzerland and innovation being largely driven by talent, by human beings, and having a lot of costs on clinical trials and the entire innovation spectrum, focusing a lot on manpower with $100,000 plus per capita income in Switzerland or $85,000 per capita income in the US. India offers that same talent, possibly better, since many of the Indians are working in many of these pharma companies worldwide in their innovation work labs. You can probably get the same person at 1/10 the price in India and serve global innovation needs from India. And lastly, our partnership model. We believe in enduring partnerships with companies around the world. We wish to invite global pharma companies to come to India. They will enjoy the fruits of a large demand generated by 1.4 billion Indians, a rising middle class with growing incomes, the world's fastest growing large economy, growing even in these turbulent times when we were slapped with 50% tariffs by the US, when we had two wars raging, one in Ukraine, one in West Asia. Even in such a period, India has seen growth at constant prices, which figures were released 2 days back, at 7.7% for the year ended March 26. That's the potential, that's the India growth story that is on offer as a partner, a trusted partner to your countries, to meet your needs, to global pharmaceutical companies, to help them in their innovation journey. And in terms of market access, we are willing to open our doors to high quality innovative products from the pharma sector from other parts of the world, as we have received 0% of preferential market access for most of our pharma products in countries with whom we have entered into free trade agreements, providing not only the needs of India, but the needs of a large part of the world, particularly the global south, the less developed countries or emerging economies who benefited hugely from our medicines and from the vaccines that were produced in India. I can share with you how India managed the pharmaceutical product at affordable prices for other countries during COVID by restricting the export of medicines and vaccines. And when we initially restricted the export, everybody in the world panicked. They thought India was going to deprive other countries of much needed medicines or much needed vaccines. But the truth was absolutely the opposite. We had brought in those restrictions only to make secular availability of these medicines and vaccines at affordable prices to all the other countries around the world. Our fear was that traders or companies with large financial muscle could have otherwise cornered the available pharmaceutical products in India and sold them at a huge profit to countries around the world who needed it desperately during COVID. And broadly basis past experience and population, so that cannot become a conduit to again resell to third countries and make a profit by certain countries or by certain companies or middlemen. As within 2 or 3 days you'll get the confirmation of these medicines. Prima facie I could see that we shouldn't have a problem in any of those. I said don't bother about the linkage to any of what you said earlier. Whether you give the grant or you don't give the grant, you give the loan or you don't give the loan, you send the ventilators or you don't send the ventilators, you'll get the medicines that you require. And friends, to this day, I don't know if the first 3 issues were ever done. I never bothered to check up from finance. But we made sure that they received all the medicines that they required. That is our culture. That is the trust that we wish to share with all of you. And these are the partnerships which will endure well beyond a pandemic like COVID, a war which may cause some temporary distress. We are looking for partnerships that will last generations. We are looking for partnerships that will benefit the entire world, because as we believe, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that was the theme of our G20 presidency in 2023. It translates to the world is one family. And we look upon all of you, our brothers and sisters, as one family. And together with you, we'd like to travel this journey of innovation, this journey of sustainable healthcare production, healthcare solutions, and most importantly, inclusive healthcare for every citizen of the world, so that no child ever is deprived of quality healthcare and safety. Thank you very much, Excellencies, for joining us this evening, and wish you all the very best in the days and years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Sir, for gracing this occasion. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to host you here in our midst. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now be witnessing the launch of IPHEX 2026 by the Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Piyush Goyal, the Honorable.
With established capabilities across generics, one of India's decisive push to strengthen global trade through strategic policy and diplomatic engagement. The landmark India-EU Free Trade Agreement opens one of the world's largest regulated markets to Indian pharmaceutical exports, enabling greater access to Europe's 450 million consumers. Ongoing trade engagement with the United States, India's single largest pharma export destination, is being further strengthened, creating new avenues for generic medicines, APIs, and biosimilars. The India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement has already accelerated pharmaceutical trade, positioning the Gulf as a critical corridor for Indian medicines reaching the Middle East and Africa. India continues to explore and expand its trade partnerships across emerging markets, giving Indian pharma manufacturers new opportunities to grow their global presence. These agreements go beyond tariffs. They build regulatory harmonization and streamlined market access, ensuring Indian pharmaceutical products reach patients faster and more affordably across the globe. Together, these initiatives are democratizing healthcare, ensuring that safe, efficacious, and life-saving treatments are an affordable reality for billions globally. Channeling this policy momentum into tangible trade outcomes is the Pharmaceuticals Export Promotion Council of India, PharmExcel, established in 2004. PharmExcel plays a pivotal role in facilitating international partnerships and empowering Indian exporters to navigate complex global markets. With the stellar growth of the industry, PharmExcel launched the International Exhibition of Pharma and Healthcare, IPHEX, in 2013. The momentum reached a crescendo at IPHEX 2025. This landmark edition hosted 587 plus overseas buyers from 138 plus countries at Bharat Mandapam. With 620 plus exhibitors and over 8,000 structured B2B meetings, the 2025 edition facilitated business worth billions, shaping the future of global medicine. Now, we prepare for a return that is bigger and bolder. IPHEX 2026 returns to Bharat Mandapam from September 7th to September 9th. This edition aligns with the vision of Bharat at 2030, projecting a $150 billion industry powered by innovation, self-reliance, and the full force of India's growing trade partnerships. Join us as we continue to lead with innovation and deliver with integrity to every corner of the globe. IPHEX 2026.
Please, respected guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a privilege to propose a vote of thanks
at this prestigious launch of IPHEX 2026 organized by Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council of India under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. On behalf of PharmExcel and the entire organizing team, COA, I would like to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to our chief guest, Honorable Shri Piyush Goyal ji, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, for gracing this occasion and for his continuous guidance and support to India's pharmaceutical export sector. We are also privileged to have with us Shri Jitin Prasad ji, Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, whose presence has added immense value to this event. You just heard the ministers both, and you have seen the kind of response in terms of the trust building from the industry, pharmaceutical industry, to the global thing. We are truly honored by the presence of excellencies, ambassadors and diplomats from more than 70 countries, which includes all the FTAs and all the countries which we have recently entered into the FTAs and the global south countries, and many of those things who have participated reflects the growing global confidence in India's pharmaceutical sector. Your presence strengthens the international partnerships and opens new avenues for collaboration, and our heartfelt appreciation to the esteemed officials from various ministries. Shri Rajesh Agrawal ji, the IAS Commerce Secretary, Minister of Commerce, Shri Mohit Yadav ji, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and of course Shri Kale Selvan ji, Secretary cum Scientific Director, IPC, Harsh Mangla ji, who has joined the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and Aman Verma ji from the DOC. And extend my sincere thanks to the DCGI representative, Mr. Chandrasekhar, who has joined here, and for his presence on behalf of the Rajiv Singh Raghuvanshi DCGI.